Well, I wanted to talk, it's kind of not a separate topic, but it follows the network thing. And I don't know how much you've heard me talk about cryptocurrency.
Oh yeah.
But and I know that you're into it, so that's what I want to talk to you about. But I actually I kind of knew about it, but it was a total fucking mushroom induced vision that got me to
Oh
start
really?
investing in Bitcoin.
Oh
Like
wow.
I
Wow.
had this vision laying on the couch with my eyes closed of networks, right? And I just saw the globe and history and trade routes becoming shipping routes, becoming
Oh wow.
planes flying across oceans, and then becoming wires and all this stuff. And I just saw the economy. I was thinking about money and how the dollar is connected to the euro, and it's connected to the rupee, and it's all this stuff is just this network. And it started from I was thinking about mushrooms, and I saw mycelium grow into all that. That was the vision I had.
Oh wow.
And then
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
yeah.
fucking sat up and just said out loud, Bitcoin. Yeah, right. And I had heard about it before. I knew what it was, but I thought of it only. And this is why I feel
That's cool.
there's some sort of synergistic energy out there between mushrooms, maybe not just even mushrooms, but psychedelics in general and cryptocurrency, because that's the only reason I knew what Bitcoin was I knew someone that bought acid and DMT to and they used Bitcoin, and they had to buy Bitcoin, get a wallet, and do all this stuff. And it sounded super confusing. And I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah.
man. I don't want to get arrested, whatever, And it just sounded shady going on the dark web and all that. But that's why I knew it. And then so I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just letting visions come to me. And yeah, I saw the globe just becoming more and more interconnected. And that was the downloaded message I got was Bitcoin. And then I started researching it, and actually the first crypto I bought was Ethereum. I've since come back around and been okay, Ether's definitely going to do something, but you need to have Bitcoin. The original thought that came to my head was Bitcoin. And what's your take on that? About any kind of synergy between the two worlds?
Um, so obviously there was the original Silk Road drug market, right? So back in 2013, when the Silk Road was running on the dark net and people were using Bitcoin to buy drugs and mushrooms and everything, and they spent in 2013. I have some notes here that said almost $900 million. So you're looking at $900 million of drugs. Some of that was certainly LSD, psilocybin, and whatnot. And that put, by using Bitcoin, that put that compound in the hands of users. And these users need operational security. They need some anonymity. They need some security. And so now you have kind of a self-maintaining loop of use Bitcoin, use shrooms,
Yeah.
Use Bitcoin, buy shrooms or LSD or whatever they're buying, and vast majority of the Silk Road stuff was for drugs. And so there was obviously a need for the compounds, and that drove the usage of Bitcoin. And so those two things really have a strong initial connection with each other.
Yeah.
And I could certainly see that in 2013, when the Silk Road was running heavy, that there were people who were able to get these compounds for their first time and relatively securely. And they saw the power of using Bitcoin to get to what they needed without basically censorship. So if you take out your credit card and go down to your friendly LSD dealer, and he swipes it, and then you get your product, and he gets nabbed by the police. You're going with him because all of that data is monitored by financial institutions and then the law. And crypto, while it is also monitored, and there is chain analysis, and they just took down a porn ring the other day due to that. You can still maintain some anonymity, and you can also avoid some of the censorship that goes along with the U.S. dollar. And I think people are coming around to seeing that. And these are the same types of people who use crypto who feel slighted by the government, which, people who use drugs also feel slighted by the government. They feel that they are not allowed access to a compound that naturally grows in a field where cows walk around, and they're not allowed to pick that up, put it in their pocket. They'll go to jail if they do that. And so they've been potentially ostracized or surveilled by the government long enough on their financial methods, and now they can use crypto to step around that. And now we're starting to see full up countries doing the same thing to bypass U.S. controls of the SWIFT networks. The SWIFT network is the big network where all the big banks talk to each other and trade financial data. And the U.S. has a major intelligence stake in that network. And other countries can get booted off of that network. Iran was recently booted, whether you believe in the qualities of Iran or whatnot, but they're booted off the network, and now they're no longer in the main stage of the world. So what do? They're switching their crypto. China's President Xi just said literally like a week ago, and caused a 30% bump in crypto prices, that his country should adopt blockchain technology. And that's a huge, huge thing. And I know exactly why they're doing that, because of the big trade war between our country and theirs. And if they adopt blockchain, they can literally sidestep everything the U.S. has put into place for financial regulations. And as that stuff gets stronger and stronger, and more mathematicians get in and make it more and more secure, you're going to see people more and more willing to both be a vendor and a purchaser of all sorts of compounds and whatnot. And sure, there's probably also going to be like genuinely things that should not be out there, like exploitation of people and so forth. And right now the US dollar is still used for most of that, including terrorism and so forth. So the bad comes with the good, and basically, if you stay the course on the good side, it will just dwarf out the bad side. But the good outweighs the bad. Magnitudes better. So. They said that about the internet when it first came out, that it would just be one giant drug market, and pharmaceuticals sell more drugs on the internet than any mushroom vendor ever
I mean,
will.
If you've got a $20 bill in your pocket that's older than a couple years old, it's been in somebody's nose somewhere.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. It's been passed around to a few people and whatnot, and in a variety of occupations.
And I hate that argument against crypto, that it's just for buying drugs online, and it's like that's part of that stigma, and whatever. But and I love everything you just said, that points to my kind of idea that there's this synergy, is also just like, their spread, the reintroduction of psychedelics into our culture, and the increase in awareness of crypto has been in lockstep. It also, like, because of what you just said of the Silk Road and everything, but also the psychological stuff that you said, and the you know, the revolutionary like kind of thinking and you know, decentralized thought. I like to say, you know, that crypto is a decentralized economy and psychedelics are decentralized thought. You know, that you're not a Republican or a Democrat or a Catholic or a Jew. You have your own. You're forming your own opinion because of psychedelics. It gives a different way of thinking, and that's so so much. There's so many areas that overlaps with the anarcho-capitalist economic view that spawned crypto in the first place. You know, crypto wasn't created to do to transact drugs discreetly, but it ended up being a perfect fucking use for it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, exactly. It's a good use
now
case.
that, like you said, that the SWIFT system and the you know, global politics and central banking is falling apart. Well, now crypto is much more useful for being an alternative to that fucking bullshit that's about to crash and burn.
Exactly.
You know, and to even more show the synergy, think of this too, where you were saying that, you know, like people in Iran and China are going to start using crypto. People in Venezuela are using it now. You know, in these areas that it's hard for an American to think, the dollar's always going to be awesome. It's hard for us to imagine a situation where our dollars in our pocket are worth nothing, and the dollars in our bank account they won't give us, and they're not worth anything anyway. It's hard for us to imagine a situation like that. But the fact is that's actually going on for lots of people in lots of countries right now. And so I kind of like to think about this, and it's maybe because I'm a stoner mushroom head, but
yeah.
There's going to be a certain fucking, you know, percentage, not just random outliers, but a percentage of people in those countries are going to buy Litecoin, buy Ether, buy whatever. And then while they have that, then they're already over that hump that stopped me from buying drugs online, and they're going to be like, I'm going to buy some of this acid stuff that this, you know, band I like was talking about or whatever is, you know, and the you know, that even the decline of the global economy that will lead to an increase in crypto usage will also, because of the synergy, lead to an increase in like psychedelic awareness and spreading. Absolutely. You know, and it's weird, man. Like I've noticed that with this podcast and people that I talk to, like they're either like, oh yeah, dude, I'm totally into crypto, or they're like, money's bullshit, I don't give a fuck about crypto, whatever. You know, exactly. Like and so I get it, like if you've never kind of like tried to combine those two thoughts, but they're totally fucking connected, you know.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and here's a technical detail with that. You know, Silicon Valley is full of coders and these developers and engineers, and they are just cryptocurrencies is crazy out there. And guess what? Those people microdose like crazy out there, and you're looking at some of the smartest people in the world developing very complex systems, and these systems are so complex that it's very hard for someone who is not chemically advanced to attack. And you know, the microchip was described during an LSD trip in the 70s. The engineer was able to visually see the electrons moving through a three-dimensional structure, and he was able to go, okay, this is how that thing works. And then he was able to go to his lab and design it. So he before then he was unable to come up with these solutions. And you know, I could certainly see the increase in microdosing and causing, you know, more and more technological revolutions in all sorts of areas, including cryptocurrencies. And you know, if there's enough people out there who are microdosing, that the demand goes so high that there will be an engineer or engineers who will say, look, we need like supreme security
Yeah.
in our cryptocurrency, and we will develop add-ons to Bitcoin or Ethereum that makes it extra secure, such as the Mimblewimble protocol, which is out right now, and it's being tested on 2 networks, and it's designed to be patched into Bitcoin. So we're talking like 100% full security in terms of how much was sent and the 2 parties or more involved, which is absolutely fantastic and terrifying to the government. They will not like that. But some people say, the government will try to ban it. Well, look, they banned mushrooms in was it late 60s? Yeah. It didn't stop anything, and it's still banned to this day. Yeah. And we're doing a psychedelic revolution. Like everyone I know, is talking about it. And they try to ban. If the government said no more crypto today, no one's going to stop working on it.
Yeah.
And everyone just starts, all right, well, I'll just do it in Canada now. Yeah. I'll just engineer there. No big deal.
It'll only increase the value of it, and because it'll make it more scarce.